Good morning, good afternoon, whatever the hell it is. I'm Jerry with Mindfully Gay, and I'm joined by John.
Hello.
And today we have with us Travis Matthews.
Yo.
Matthews or Matthew?
Matthews.
Matthews.
Yeah.
And he is a body worker. We're going to let him introduce himself a little bit more, but he owns and operates Wolf, WLF Massage.
Oh, I love that.
And we crossed paths at some point. I don't remember how we crossed paths, but as we got to talking, we thought, well, it might be fun to have Travis on the podcast. Yeah. So he's here in the Salt Lake City area, and if you're interested in some good body work, he will twist you and make you cry.
That's cool.
So, and our topic today is going to be in alignment with some of the work that he does, and we've been collaborating a little bit about what today's topic will be. And John will describe that for you.
Oh. Well, we're going to let Travis introduce himself, but the topic really is in alignment with what we have talked about in previous episodes, but I think this will be another perspective, another nice insight into just touch and just the importance of touch, especially male touch, right? Yeah. And relationship connection with other queer men, gay men, because it has some stigma out there and some discomfort and raises ideas and feelings of trauma, but we want to see this as a healing and more informative, loving and connecting kind of approach and situation, so that touch and that somatic work isn't a scary thing. So I'm going to leave it at that. And hello, Travis. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Travis. My private practice is called WLF Massage. I focus on mostly body work. I think massage therapist is a fun term per se, but I think what I do is definitely I'm working with the body. I'm molding and I'm sculpting it in a way that I think that will, make your life healthy and the longevity to the point where you would like to be. Yeah. And I specialize mostly in like Thai massage, fascia work, Swedish, lymphatic, and stuff along those natures. But the main focus for WLF Massage is like relax, refresh, reset. And the reason why I picked those three words is because I think there isn't a lot of spaces where we can relax, especially now in 2025. I think there's a place where being refreshed is such a I'm feeling like we've been refreshed after meeting with somebody. It seems like a odd experience. Usually most people are kind of exhausted after meeting with somebody, even if it is like a good and positive situation, it still can feel like you just kind of went through something.
Yeah.
So I want people to leave my table feeling like they felt refreshed, which I think is really foreign. And then reset is, I don't know if I've ever really been in a space where I felt like I was able to reset. Honestly, I feel like I'm constantly carrying on something from a past insert word into the next day, into the next moment. And so I'm hoping that after the session happens, you do feel like, oh, my body has now hit a hard reset for my software and my hardware. And I'm able to kind of move forward. So the idea is to kind of freshen up who you are and who you want to be, give you a blank slate, give you the youthfulness and the energy and the vibrance to go after things that you've always wanted without your past kind of like holding you down. And I'm just doing that through somatic touch. There's other ways you can do that, right. So like mental health, yoga, eating right, etc. Right. But mine's going to be through intentional and educated touch. And I think this kind of work is just really important because for me, as a gay man, especially as like a Black gay man, when it comes to people who want to touch my body, it comes with so many different narratives and so many stories and so many biases and setbacks. And I don't really appreciate that. It's really heavy, and I don't want to deal with anything heavy. We already are dealing with things so many heavy. So I think it's really important to approach touch in a way that is lifting instead of bogged down.
Right.
In a lot of ways. And so I'm hoping my body work kind of lifts people up to where they need to go. And especially just like the gay community. Because as exciting as it is for another man to touch you, at least for me personally, I never really know if you're touching me for other motives beyond what you're saying to me right now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What do you think is, I don't know, I want the word that keeps popping up is dilemma. What do you think the dilemma is among maybe gay men or queer men in regards to touch or even just body work? What's getting in the way that where the work that you do might be very beneficial to a gay person?
Yeah. I would probably say what's getting in the way is that I feel like for most of us, and you guys can speak to it, I think for most of us, if we've ever felt touch from another man, it was to lead to something sexual. Or, it was either going to go be something sexual, or it was an invitation to something sexual. And, sexual touch is great. It's fun. I love it. But I don't want it to be the only time I'm ever touched by someone that's supposed to be my lifelong partner. If you choose to marry someone that is gay, and so I would love to see what it looks like to be touched and be held by someone whose only intentions is to care for this body, in this short span of time, 60, 90 minutes, etc., whatever, how long the session is, and it's tough because it's a really relaxing space. And when the body feels really relaxed, that's kind of when it starts to feel erotic. And because all those walls are kind of like felt broken down, so the body is able to relax. And when you get relaxed, that's when the blood starts to rush in places that you weren't necessarily expected. So I have seen in many times in sessions where, I've seen men like have their walls fall down, straight and gay.
Yeah.
And so I am now in a space of power, essentially, where, you are now with another man, and you are vulnerable and your walls are down. Like, how often is that ever really happening? And I have to navigate in a space where my intentions are not to get you off in that way, but my intentions are to continue to let those walls down and go even further, go even deeper, go beyond the initial somatic reaction, which is to be sexually charged, and go even deeper to be like, what else is being charged here?
Yeah. I want to pause you there because I think that's fascinating, because it does seem like in any kind of situation, even beyond the massage table or the Thai yoga mat, or even social situations, like just a light touch, just this, like a hand on the thigh or something. I think one of the immediate responses or thought expressions is, oh, is this sexual?
Is this person on to me?
Is this person coming on to me?
Yeah,
like that's the first place that we go. And if there's ways that we can diffuse that a little bit, and it's like, well, that's not the only reason why someone might be touching you. And then going back to the example you gave, because you may not be giving massage just to gay men, but even straight men. And the phrase that I've heard lately that some people might experience is they go into, especially gay men, they'll go into gay panic, where, I'm aroused. And like you said, you're in a place of power, being the massage therapist in that case. Here's this vulnerable man in this state, right? And his response might be, is he going to come on to me? Is he going to jack me off. He's going to suck me. What's going to happen here? They go into gay panic. And again, it's a one-sided, very, blinders on kind of response. When it comes to male touch, regardless of sexuality or how you might identify, and how do we start to diffuse that? Because it does seem to be, I don't know if it's like I said a dilemma. I guess it's a potential problem, but it raises more and more anxiety, I think, among our community.
I think so too. And then it's like, when you are feeling that touch and you're feeling, I think they're feeling safe. I think that's really what's happening. Someone's touching me, and they're seeing me, and I feel seen, and that's hot, and their body is getting aroused there, and so their immediate thought is to jack off and to release it quickly. And I think there is a conversation to be had there, that when you feel aroused or when you feel safe or when you feel vulnerable, you want to get rid of it within however long it takes for you to jack off and come, as opposed to, okay, this was an experience where I actually had my guards down and my body was accepting it. Where else can I go except beyond just masturbating? Can I keep this vulnerability? Can I keep this openness going to another part of my life?
And what would be the benefit of that? And that's where, if that's the intention, and helping to maybe open the mindset for a gentleman on the table to experience that, what's the potential? Where could they go beyond that?
That's what I would defer them to, Jerry.
What's that?
Honestly, I think I would refer them to a mental health therapist. I would refer them to someone that could actually guide them in a somatic wellness route, where you can talk about their mental health and pair it with their somatic openness. I honestly and truly, I think people who do body work should work with people who do mental health work, because I am opening up to places that, as a mental health therapist, you might not be able to get there on your own.
I think you and I, when I got a massage from you, I think you and I were talking about when I have a tattoo on my back. Did we talk about this?
I don't know if we did.
Oh, I have a tattoo on my back. I remember when I was getting tattooed, it kind of comes down to here. But in this spot down here...
Wait, we did talk about this, yes.
I started, crying.
Oh.
And I can't even put a reference to why I was crying, but, there was something about that point in my body that was getting released. And I do think in a lot of somaticized work, the body... Body Keeps the Score is the name of the book.
Right.
But the body and the cells of the body do retain memory, do retain trauma. And for whatever reason, it's interesting, there was another part of my back that also, it was very erotic. It was just stimulating in a sensual kind of a way. And so, yeah, I think those things happen. And I sometimes wonder if massage therapists get any kind of training on how to handle people on a table who may be triggered or, not just erotically, but triggered in other ways.
Yeah.
But what as I was listening to you guys talk, I was thinking, I know that when I look for a massage therapist, I very deliberately want a gay male massage therapist, because that's where I find my most trust. Even though I've had women give me good massages, and I've had straight men give me really good massages, but I feel safest on a gay man or someone who's sexually flexible in terms of maybe bisexual or gay. And for me, I was just sitting there thinking, well, that's a safety issue. I feel safer in those situations. But when we were talking about how, I do think it's interesting that we think an erection is license for orgasm.
Yeah.
And in a lot of shamanic practices, I call it the umbrella concept of sex magic. And then there's the concept of, I think, Tantra, which you can probably speak more to, right? But that is, in South America, for instance, they use sex magic. And you think, well, what does that mean? It doesn't mean that they're actually engaged in sexual practices. In fact, we just worked with a shaman last October who was very clear that he abstained from sexual practices for several weeks in preparation to be able to run the ceremony. And how he explained it is it was about holding on to and maintaining the energy that's generated sexually and allowing that to come through him as his medicine, as his gift. And it doesn't mean it had to happen in a sexual context. And in some traditions, that sexual kind of energy is used for healing practices,
Absolutely.
for making prayers more powerful, anointing power objects.
Yeah.
And so I do like and enjoy a sexual component to massage, sensual, because I enjoy the energy, like it enlivens all parts of my body. And yet I know when I go to a massage therapist, what I want a therapeutic experience. But I'm also recognizing that something energetically and maybe even spiritually is being cultivated in that process too. That's how I look at it.
There's just so many holding patterns that our body has that as a massage therapist, we actually physically see. You may talk about it as a therapist or as a yoga instructor, these holding patterns, but as a massage therapist, we're seeing it nakedly on the body. And we release that fascia, we release those trigger points, and then we see the entire body just melt and relax. And something's being dispersed, right? And part of what I do with those trigger points and those releases is that there's toxin that's in those trigger points or these adhesions, and I push those to joints or lymph nodes to kind of get to the lymphatic system, and then you pee it out. But that is a physical manifestation of toxins that were built up in a certain part of your body that's released. But there's also, I think, a spiritual and emotional component to it as well that is being released, right? And now that it's released, you have a more abundant space to hold positive and good and healing energy. And I think that's the energy that you're talking about when you're giving it to those powerful healing and anointment and stuff like that. And it creates a lot of creative energy as well. And so that's why I like to call it body work instead of as a massage therapist, because I think we are working with the body to put it in places where you can move more abundantly in a lot of ways. And so,
yeah, this is really in line with, with my yoga work, and I do tantra work, and it's the same thing. It's just, and I'm hoping, I'm glad we're talking about this, because I think what we're hoping to do here is to expand people's, perspectives and certainly horizons and even just definitions around what happens around, sensuality, even, massage therapy, body work, when a person might go into body or, gay panic, or when someone feels like, oh no, I have an erection. Does this lead to something sexual like ejaculation or something? We're expanding your perspective around that with tantra. And you're both talking about tantra work. Tantra is energy work. And it comes in many forms. I think we associate tantra with sex and sexuality, but when I teach it, I tell folks, well, it's not, the sexual act is a tantric experience because it raises energy. Just as you're moving, as you're applying touch and kneading and getting those trigger points and moving, releasing fascia and all of that, that's energy work. That's raising energy in the body that you said literally see, and then be able to shift and dispose of the parts that don't work or we don't need anymore, to relieve or to then allow that abundance of space that we can now fill with, love, joy, gratitude, all whatever we need to, fill those voids with now. But that tantra is energy work, to build energy in the body, to have a creative flow, a sense of empowerment, confidence. It does a lot of things. It's very powerful, just as you described. Was it Ruben you're describing? Last October with...
well, we were with Ruben, but it was a guy in the jungle by the name of Gito.
Okay. Yeah, where where he doesn't engage in sexual activity, to use that sexual energy as part of his medicine when he does his work and does ceremony. It's the same thing. He's doing tantra work. He's using that energetic prowess in his system to then use as healing, powerful medicine. Very, very, amazing magic that comes with tantra work and body work.
So when you have that release of energy or that release of that I come across when I do trigger point work or unwinding fascia, and you have that release and you have that abundance, does it have to be sexual?
That's the question, right?
Yeah, because I've released, maybe trigger points in my quads per se, and I did feel that, that rush of blood. I think it is a rush of blood because there was some tightness that was happening here, right? And then this release. But is my client on the table attracted to me? Like, do they want to have sex with me? Probably not. I mean, the straight people probably don't. And so, what does it have to be sexual if it's not reciprocated? And does it have to be sexual if it's just a rush of whatever?
What if we ask that question without using the word sexual?
Yeah.
How would the question sound?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
I think I'm thinking arousing. I don't know. Arousing.
I think central.
Yeah.
That's what
I think central too.
Because I don't think I can feel very central and not necessarily be sexually aroused.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I know that my consciousness about where my body is vibrationally starts to become amplified.
Yes.
So that's the word that I would use. I would describe that as a very central. Sometimes when I've worked with a massage therapist and they kind of do a whole body sweep, so maybe they've worked and they've worked and then they kind of do and I would describe that as a very central, because I'm kind of feeling this flow of energy moving up and down my body. And what I would say is, maybe in another context, I can sometimes reference those places of sensuality and to reference that place of energy. And I might describe that as a very similar physiological experience when I'm running a ritual or when I'm doctoring on someone.
Exactly.
Right? And I wouldn't describe that as sexual. I would describe it as like this exchange of energy that is to the benefit of the person receiving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If we're able to...
That's how I would frame it.
I like that, because it's another way of kind of demystifying and kind of breaking apart that direct association with erection means sex, or being touched means, oh, you're attracted to me, we're going to have sex. Just to put that on pause, because it certainly could lead to that, but it's not the only, direction.
Well, think about the counter of that, right? We, our education about our sexuality, especially for gay men, has been porn.
Yeah.
And I can love porn, but if I am using it as a comparison or an educational tool, then I'm left thinking I have to be performative in certain ways.
Right.
Right. And I have enjoyed sensuality and sexuality without an erection, and without any kind of bodily exchanges, right? And what's interesting is, because everyone's so goal-oriented, right? It's like, well, if you haven't reached the finish line, what do they say? Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
What can I do to help you?
Yeah.
I'm like,
I'm fine.
Maybe I'm really good.
And I would say this, I've had body work with people that I've had very positive, energetic exchanges with. And I get off the table and I'm just very happy with like a hug or some kind of a good, that works for me. Because I feel like something energetically happened. It was therapeutic. and it worked in my muscles. And if everything is good after that, then I feel it through my body, and that to me is connective.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about.
And I want to go back to a point you brought up, Jerry, earlier about how you feel the most comfortable receiving massages from a gay male massage therapist. What is it about other sexualities that you don't think you would be as open to them? Is it just the shared lived experience, or is it the touch that is associated to your sexual experiences?
Say that one more time. So shared experiences I get.
Yeah.
And I can align with that. What was the other part?
Or is it the fact that because you associate a touch from a person that would lead to a sensual touch, you associate sensual touches to gay men, that, okay, if I'm ever going to receive a sensual touch, it should only come from gay men. So I only want it from a gay partner. I want it from a gay male therapist. Is that the reason why? Or is it because of the shared lived experiences? Or something completely different?
Yeah, maybe it's kind of a combination of all of that, because for me, I think I want to be on the table with someone who gets context. So let's say I do get aroused. I don't want the massage therapist having gay panic. But I feel like a gay man would be like, okay, been there, done it, seen it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I just don't think a lot of gay men would carry the same kind of judgments. And I feel like I can relax more. And I think too, I'm probably from a generation where you could probably appreciate this. I mean, I think gay passion used to be a sport. And so any potential hint of gayness that may come up in that kind of intimate setting historically led to some kind of violence. And so I think my go-to has been go with someone who gets the context.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because I think that would be my response is I'd probably be more comfortable with a gay male body worker. Next, maybe a straight male, but I would be very mindful of possibly getting an erection. Not, wondering, are they going to kick me off the table, kick me out of the studio, or are they just going to be, well, I've seen bodies, I've seen erections, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
And they're okay, but I've got to be okay. But I'm projecting my feelings and fears on this person. Like, are they going to beat me up, or kick me off the table, or think I'm expecting him to do something to me because I got erect?
I don't think I know any straight men that work on men. To be honest, I cannot think of. I know a lot of body workers. I'm thinking, I can't think of any that.
Oh, really?
That are.
I know plenty. I can introduce you to.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I do too.
There's a few things I want to bring up. I love that you guys both are going to erection as the breaking point. I think there's also the uncomfortability of this moaning, just that moaning of relief, like and I know if really a straight man wasn't here, then a gay man is moaning in relief. And in a sexual point, I don't think I think they would not even like that. So it's not just the erection. I think there is other points in the session that would make a straight man uncomfortable, right?
I cry on the table.
Right, like stuff like that.
And I'll add another. I like that you said that, because I would even add, because I do have some, straight male therapists that I go to. I always wear shorts.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you why?
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the same reason.
Same reason.
Maybe he doesn't want to see my stuff, and I generally don't get erect, but does he want to be feeling on my bare ass? I don't know.
Yeah.
Whereas if he was gay, I don't know. If he was gay and I knew that, and if I knew him a little bit, I probably would disrobe completely. but I might even wear shorts in that condition too if I didn't really know them.
Yeah.
I think for the same reason, you know.
It's interesting. I feel like I need to know my massage therapist too.
Yeah.
Like I think I set up after we met. I'm like, oh, okay, he's cool. I'm gonna meet with him.
Yeah. And I find that a lot with potential clients. They want to chat with me a bit before they actually book a session, and I fully understand. I mean, it's a vulnerable space. You're literally naked for the first time in front of a stranger.
Yeah,
it's like what is this? There should be so much more pre-interview, or like there should be some kind of like relationship building that happens. That's just like not trained in that industry at all whatsoever. Or like some kind of introductory session, like therapists, mental health therapists have. Like there's nothing really like that, which I think is like really interesting.
I look for relationship. I also look for therapists who look like they work out, or they're like
Why?
Because I think if they know how to work out, they know how the muscles work.
Oh.
And if I say I did this and this happened, they have some context. And so I tend to look at massage therapists who look like they know how to take care of themselves, or that they have kind of a healthy practice, because I feel like there'll be something more holistic around it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I think it's very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, because hopefully your massage therapist has gone through the proper education and training, have been through anatomy and
look, I'm a therapist. I used to be a professor. I know people get proper training, and then when I used to be a professor, I thought, man, this student's got some serious hang-ups, and I could see how their hang-ups were getting in the way of their ability to really efficiently help clients.
Gosh,
yeah,
right?
I see what you're saying.
And so if so I guess I think somebody who takes care of themselves, right, they get it. They might even know, like for instance, I got a massage. I had this guy get a massage with who does he's like a, what do they call this guy? Bodybuilder. Yeah. And so he knows that I've been seeing him for years, and he knows that mobility is an issue. And so a lot of times in our sessions, we'll get into stretches and mobility. And a lot of times I get a list of, here's exercises to work on.
Yeah.
And so I feel like he kind of knows my threshold. Like the other day we were doing a stretch, and he was able to get me to stretch. I was stretching better in that session. And he's like, he could see it, I could see it. And then we went forward with those exercises.
I think, not to do a quick plug, but I think that is a great reason why you should have your own male therapist or go to a private practice over a spa. But if you go to a spa, you're just going through a rotation of massage therapists to work on. But if you go to a private practice or someone that you actually know, they know your body, you've built that relationship, they know where you can go and where you think you can't go, you should go, but you don't know yourself, so we're going to help you get there. And do different modalities that you may need, because you may think that you need a deep tissue massage, but what you probably really need is some craniosacral 5 grams of pressure of work. And a new therapist may not know that. They'll see your chart, but they may not know how freaking stubborn you are. You know, until you have clients who think
at the end of our class, he's like, you need some back work, bitch.
This is how you know.
But I was, that kind of leads me to, because I think it was your website, or maybe it was on Instagram, but you have this really interesting list of, here's what I do. And I thought, wow, that's a pretty exhaustive list. I noticed on Instagram, somewhere you were talking about doing specific body work on specific body parts using the Thai stuff.
Yes.
And I don't know, I that might be an interesting, I'm always intrigued with the particulars, like why Thai massage versus other kinds of massage. And I know you do Thai work too. Yeah.
You want to speak on
it?
Go ahead. I personally think Thai is better because, one, for people who love deep tissue work, it's so much easier to get into deep tissue work because you have gravity on your side. With the table, you have like the 3 feet or 4 feet that is against you as you're raised up, but with gravity on your side, you're floating on the floor for Thai mat. So I can push my 170 pounds literally into this one spot and
Listen
get
to
that
her.
tissue.
170 pounds.
Actually, that is the
You need to get a portrait.
But I could be more specific and use gravity to get in those spots. Also, a lot of moves is stacking.
Yeah.
Is putting the body in a position where you're able to stack the muscles in the fascia to the point where when you do hit this one point, it releases throughout the whole fascia system. And our body, if you don't know what fascia is, it's just like this web-like substance that is like holding your muscles in certain points, and it's really easy to get tangled up. Think of like a spider web itself. And this web system goes throughout your whole entire body. So I maybe even talked about this, where I was going to release your scapular area and you were like feeling it in your toes. That is a very normal thing that happens all the time. And so Thai is really great at doing that and putting the body in compromising positions where you're able to get that kind of release. I think also it's more intimate in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, we're stacking your body in ways that you never knew you needed to, and it's releasing pockets and areas that you didn't even know you had. That I hear that all the time. I was like, oh, I didn't even know my knees can hit my nose. It's like, I had no idea you could do that. I was like, yeah, your body is a lot more mobile and a lot more flexible than you ever give it credit for. And I think it is a disservice to the human body and the human experience to not experience all that it can. And I think Thai massage is a great avenue to get to that point. And there's like little logistical things that are better. Like, you don't have to worry about oil or lotions in itself. You don't necessarily have to worry about disrobing. You can wear the shorts and get the work that you need to get to quite easily. And it, for some reason, it just feels like it feels like it's just me and you. With a Swedish massage, sometimes it feels like it's just me on the table. And then at the end, it's like, I don't know where you just took me. Sometimes it feels that way. At least for me, it does. With a Thai massage, I'm right there, right along with you. A lot of times we're making eye contact. A lot of times, like, my body is on your body, maybe pushing your body in ways that you didn't know we need to go. It feels like a partnership journey to me more than a solo journey. And I think I enjoy that the most.
Yeah.
But what about you?
I just want to highlight or just add on to that, because those are just like, check. Because if I were to recommend a type of massage to, especially a gay man, I would probably say you should try a Thai massage because of that connectivity. Because, since we're talking about expanding the consciousness around, sex, sensuality, spirituality, even, and body work. Here's a body work system where you are going to get that body work. You're going to release some tight places, and you're going to connect with somebody. Like you said, there's a one-on-one. There's a relationship that builds there, and there's a connection that is sensual, not necessarily sexual, but it is sensual. There's a connection, an energetic connection, and even because of the positions that the therapist, air quotes, is putting the client into, like you said, your body is on their body.
Yeah.
And the way that I learned, one of the first things my instructor said was, this is yoga for two people.
Yes. That's a great way to put it.
And that's that connectivity that you just mentioned, where certainly the client on the mat is benefiting from the experience, but the therapist is also benefiting 100%. And it's a dance. You're doing this together. It's beautiful. And I would say, again, it's a plug for, if you want a massage and you want to kind of break that barrier of, maybe a fear of that vulnerability and just kind of feeling alone on the table, try a Thai massage, because it might break down some of those mysteries.
The only time I think I've had a Thai massage, actually, it was from a woman. I was in Costa Rica at this retreat center, and she had like a system of ropes.
Yeah.
And you laid on the ground, and she kind of used the ropes. Just be walking all over you.
Yeah.
I'm working on that training because I want to do that. So
Stay tuned.
Yeah, I think another great thing about it is that there's a lot of use of your feet, and I think in America we like shame our feet a lot, and we don't really take care of it, and it's always like perceived as like this like dirty thing, or it's like this fetish.
Yeah,
it's one of the two. It's either a fetish or it's super dirty.
Yeah,
it's never really a grounding, clean experience. And with Thai massage, they're using a lot of your feet. And I think there's something to be said about the one thing that's grounding you to this earth, your feet. The one thing that's grounding you to your existence on this earth is going to be used on your body to heal you.
Yeah.
And I think that speaks a lot of volumes if you just sit with that for a bit.
For real. Yeah.
I got a massage a couple of years ago from this guy. I knew him from the gym. Went, and I did notice these handlebars on the ceiling, but I just like thought, well, that's kind of good. Direction. But I remember being on the table and feeling like, I thought, man, he must have huge hands, because it felt like, but there was an even kind of flow of what he was doing, and at one point, I kind of glanced up and I realized, oh, he's walking on me. But he uses his, it's a form of massage. I don't know. I can't remember the name of it. But it was really interesting how he could use his feet to kind of disperse the muscles that felt a lot different than like a arm or hands. But it is interesting, the stories we tell ourselves about our
bodies. Our feet. Yeah, you as a giver in that experience, you use your whole body. You know, there's one piece where I'm sitting on the person, so using your butt, you know, and kind of just moving your body, shifting your weight to kind of get into some muscle tissue there, you know. And again, like feet, hands, your elbows. But yeah, you're using your whole body. But that's an interesting reminder, you know, about the importance of our feet and what they represent, and how that's part of the full medicine experience, especially in a Thai massage.
I think, because I know we're about 15 minutes out here, but I want to bring this up because as a therapist in our community, I talk to a lot of people of various age groups, and it's interesting how many gay seniors seem to be hungry for touch.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Like, we're a very youth-centric community. And I think sometimes that's self-imposed, because I think there's a lot of people who, have reached an age and who wants to touch me. Or it gets fetishized. Right? Well, suddenly I'm everybody's daddy. No, right? But I think it makes me wonder, because like if I get a good massage from someone, I'll say, hey, go get a massage from this guy. It might just be good for you to be on the table and just let someone take care of you, right? And I'm just curious, like, do you see older people that come in, or do you feel like they self-select out, or like, what's the demographic of?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
I do get older gay men in particular. I'm like, I think actually gay, straight, it doesn't really matter. I've gotten a few Mormons on my table.
Sure.
And they really enjoy the Thai because they can wear their undergarments. So that's really nice. But I do get a lot of older gay men. I don't get a lot of younger gay men.
Right. Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not really a thing. I think you're totally right. As you get older, you just kind of value more touch that isn't sexual.
Yeah.
Or you know what I mean? Isn't intentionally sexual. But when you're younger, you're kind of like, what are you touching me if it's not going to lead to hooking up? You know? And so they don't really see the value in what it looks like to be held and be taken care of outside of a hookup.
Do we need to shift? I'm kind of hearing us, we keep kind of talking about that. Is that a cultural paradigm that needs to shift? And what could it shift to? Like I hear a lot of people almost kind of be in a complaining space about that. And I think, when I work with clients, a lot of clients are experts at complaining about a situation. But when you ask them, well, what does the solution look like? Their vocabulary, and I think this is a cultural example of that dynamic. If you see it all the time, it's just about sex, it's just about hooking up. If we're unhappy with that paradigm, how do we envision the future? Culturally, what would need to happen in our relationships as people in the queer community, and queer men in particular, in terms of how we're interactive with each other? What would need to change?
I'm going to give an answer. You might not like it. Okay, you might. I'm going to give a few answers.
We'll edit it out.
I honestly think getting body work is a great start. Like getting monthly body work, I think it's a phenomenal start to like actually getting used to feeling touch that isn't sexual. And then I think it's good to hang out with someone and get touch from someone that has no sexual interest in you at all whatsoever. I think more gay men need to hang out, not only with gay men that don't find them sexually attractive, but they should hang out with gay men who are straight. I think that, and then have that kind of physical relationship with them, with the handshake, with the hug, with like the pat on the back. Get used to getting touched by another man that doesn't lead to something sexual. Not only just a regular touch, but touch that is community centered. I think we have this idea that straight men don't like to be touched. And I can tell you as a massage therapist who has had a lot of straight men on the table, they love it.
They're craving it too.
And they do it fairly often to their bros. Fairly often. It's kind of gay, kind of weird, but that's another conversation for another time. But like, I think they're part of the pandemic of gay men only allowing touch that is sexual is the fact that they're not surrounding themselves with people that don't find them sexually attractive.
I like that answer, actually, because I think, because, when we were looking for, what's the remedy, what's the counter to that, and how do you step into that, I think you gave two really good examples. Go get a massage, just get used to being touched. It could be from a man, from a woman, but just get used to being touched, period. And then, surround yourself with, or be in contact, in practice even, with an individual that you may not be sexually attracted to, and practice touch. Just the hug, the handshake, the pat on the shoulder, the rubbing the back, so that it breaks that, I want to say barrier, but that's not the right word, but like, it drops those blinders of, touch with a gay man only means sex, and sex, the act of sex. But if we have the experience of, but I touch my friend this way, and it's not sexual. I touch, even a girlfriend or a female friend in that way, and it's not sexual. Why couldn't I touch or be touched from a gay man and it not be sexual?
Yeah,
I think that's a really good remedy. Practice touch in other social circumstances with people that, or just in situations where sex isn't the end goal or the intention.
I think in a lot of ways also, this might be a little bit of stereotype, but I know this is true for me. We talked about it a little bit earlier. I don't have a relationship with my father. So that's another male figure in my life that I could have had some kind of physical touch with that was never going to be sexual, that I never had. And I think a lot of gay men can relate to me in the fact that they don't have a relationship with their father, and if they do, it's definitely not physical touch. It's some type of passion. So they grew up not having that male touch. And then they came out, and then a lot of people's first time coming out and their first time with the touch was some random hookup.
Yeah, wow. That's powerful.
I've always wondered about I think about how we define ourselves sexually.
Mm.
Daddy,
Mm.
otter, pig, bear. Right. And I get that there's a lot of cultural ramifications to all that, but I just think I sometimes listen to that, especially right now, the whole daddy thing is like, I think this is so interesting. I sometimes wonder if we're trying to get some kind of emotional, psychological need met, but somewhere in our engagement with trying to get that need met, we somehow fetishize it and sexualize it.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I think what's really being looked for is an intimate connection, to be held, to be loved by a father figure.
Yes, period.
I
agree.
And does that have to be sexual?
Exactly.
And I get the idea of fetish play and however people want to do it. I get that. But there's also this part of me that's just always questions like, what's happening or how's this playing out? And why is that? Like, why do we... I can't think of anything piggish about what we do. I see it as poetic. I see it as beautiful. I see it as... I don't get piggish. And otter and bear I can live with. But,
but it's interesting because it's animal. It's not human. So is this an animal connection, an animal relationship?
Yeah.
So what is this? But then you go to daddy. Are we trying to resolve some past issues, perhaps?
Or what about dominant?
Yeah.
And submissive.
Yeah.
Well, I get called Black King all the time, or just King.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that is about. It's really popular in the South.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, Black King.
Yeah,
What is it?
I don't really know. I haven't really asked, but a lot of white guys that hit me up, and I'm sure they're only hitting me up because they have a fetish for black guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like to call me King, and I think there's this like, when you fetishize something, you put it on this like certain pedestal that you think is higher than thou, and I think they want to
projects all these expectations.
Yeah, and when you do that, you're severing any level of intimacy whatsoever.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if it's like intentional. Like I intentionally don't want to be close to you, so I am going to call you this thing that I can never be.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, it severs, and I want to come back to what your kind of your 3 words, your 3 R's, and that last one was reset.
Mm.
And I'm wondering if that kind of is that opposite of the severance that we want to reset as a way of reconnect.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if you can speak to that.
Yeah, I think so. 100%. History is very important, so I don't want to be like forget everything you've ever gone through. Right?
Good.
And I do want to say that a reset for me is let's look at this with fresh eyes at everything that I'm doing. Now that I've had this release, now that I have my body feels relaxed, I can look at the world with a different lens. I can change my prescription and look at it from a fresh point and be like, okay, is this serving me or not serving me? And that's what I'm really hoping that happens at the end of your session. And you don't just kind of like blow it off in some shape or fashion. And so I'm hoping that reset is that, okay, I'm going to reset my biases. I'm going to reset my setback. I'm going to reset even the things I think is actually serving me well. I'm going to just kind of reset all those things. And then I'm going to consciously and actively choose what aligns with my vision. That's what I mean when I say reset. That's really hard work because we have a lot of ties to things that we think is good for us or not good for us. However, I think getting bodywork is a good way to kind of get there.
Yeah, I'm hearing, and I appreciate this. I hear you talking about the micro, the individual, the exchange that happens, whether it's in therapy or body work or yoga training or whatever, right? But I want to take exactly what you just said and say, what would happen as a gay men community if we had a vision about who we were, who we are, and reset right? Like we were just talking
that
about
one.
labels, right? It's
Right.
like, well, instead of, what'd you say, Daddy or Black King?
Black King.
Black
Yeah.
King.
Yeah. How do you want to be seen?
Uh,
What's your vision for yourself of how you want to be seen as a gay central man?
yeah. You asking me?
Yeah.
Okay. I think about it a lot. I think I looked it up when I was in middle school what the name Travis meant, and I think in the German sense it means like bridge. And I've always really aligned with that a lot. I do like to take somebody from point A to point B. You pack up their backpack, wave, and see them on the way. I really, really enjoy that a lot. And that's kind of how I like to be seen as a gay man.
As a bridge builder.
And as a bridge builder. Someone
I love
who
that.
can get you from point A to point B.
In some nomadic cultures, that's exactly where queer people were.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, there was a Hopi two-spirited person back in times of colonization. Her name was Wiwa. And in that tribal community, she was the one sent as the ambassador to the capital because she was seen as a bridge builder.
Yeah.
But that was seen as her innate gift
That's her gift,
as a otherwise queer person.
Yeah.
So I think that's beautiful. What about you?
Well, I want to say something here because when you said that about yourself and how you would like to be seen, I had an emotional reaction and even a physical reaction. I got chills. There was a little flutter in my heart. I felt something. It felt human. And there was a connection. It's like, ooh, I think I see you differently, but or just deeper. Not just a body worker, but certainly the things that you talked about. But that really nailed it. Like, ooh, I feel myself kind of sinking into that, feeling in the sensuality of that, and I think that's what's missing. When we say, like when you said, Black King or Otter and just these other labels, that doesn't mean anything to me. To me now, it's like, okay, well, those are just labels that we just throw around. I don't have any kind of response to that. It's just a thing that we use. But to ask that question, how are you seen? How do you want to be seen? Oh, I soften into that. I feel that, and I just wanted to express that.
What about you?
I think about my brand is embody. And the way that I write it, I use the letter M and the word body. And so people see my logo says the letter M, body, but I said, just say it, embody. And so I want to be seen as someone who's helping someone to embody their whole being. And through these different mechanisms, whether it's yoga or breath work, or even just being in the kitchen and cooking up something nice for yourself or for someone else, that you can feel into the whole experience of that. Be your whole self. Embody that thing. Embody that object. Embody that who you really are. So I feel like, in a way, a bridge towards something like that through movement and touch and things like that. But I want to be seen as someone who allows you to see who you really are. How about you?
That's sexy. I don't know. I was sitting here as I was asking the question, I was kind of answering it in my head, and the imagery or the word is fluidity. Is I want to be fluid and evolving, and I don't want to be contained by top or bottom or daddy or son, or I just want to be seen in fluidity and in an evolving way.
Yes.
I think it's interesting. People have been putting this word elder on me, and I get it. And I even appreciate it. But I think sometimes we think of elders as having answers.
Yeah.
And for me, I have a lot more questions than I have answers. And so I want to be fluid in, like I love Charles. Charles is 92 today, I think. And he will just call me and say, guess what I learned about myself today? And I love that because I think of him as like the ultimate guru.
Yeah.
But I think I want to be constantly surprised.
Oh, I love that.
And I hold a vision for our community that I love our sexuality and our sensuality and our playtime. But my vision for our community is that it's expansive, that it's body, mind, and spirit.
Yes.
And like we're getting ready to go into our retreat next week, and I want to see fluidity and community, that we can sit and be with each other and even recognize our attractions, but to not be constrained by those attractions, but to let it just be part of an overall narrative that says, look at how much more I get to discover about you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We did an episode, it was called, I am not tragically gay. And towards the end, we kind of did the same little exercise. Like, well, if you're not, how then do you want to be seen? And how would you label yourself? What's the adverb or adjective that you would put in front of gay? Yeah. And I remember saying, I am deliciously gay. But it's that expansive-ness, just, taking what you know about yourself and being curious and digging in and doing some work or doing some play to reset, to rediscover who you really are and who else you are and what more you are.
Yeah. And I feel like those labels that we talked about, like Black King, Pig, Otter, etc., I like to see them as conversation starters. I think they're also adverbs.
They are.
And so in a lot of ways, if you're calling me a Black King, I'm always curious about, like, what do you think this Black King has for you to offer to you?
Right. Yeah.
And sometimes I do ask them that, like, what do you think this Black King has to offer you? And that will get me into, okay, I can see if maybe you are a fluid or an embody or a bridge person from there. A lot of these labels, they're conversation starters. I think a lot of people stop there. And that's dangerous within itself. And so I think we just see it as a starter. I don't want to ban them because I think they're fun. But yeah,
you're right. They can
it's a good starter.
Yeah,
it's a great. Let's expand.
Expand.
Yeah.
I love that. It's the conversation starter.
Yeah.
Let's not end it there.
No.
Let's continue that conversation.
Yeah.
And discover more about each other.
Yeah.
In that way, right?
Yeah. So this is not Travis King. This is Travis Matthews.
You might be a Travis King, actually. It's crazy.
This is Travis Matthews. Yeah. WLF Massage. Your website is
WLFmassage.com.
And you can find us at mindfullygay.com.
That's right.
Or Instagram mindfully_gay. We want to thank Travis for joining us. We might invite you to come back again.
Yes.
Ready for part two.
This was juicy.
Very juicy. I loved it. Yeah.
And we hope you enjoyed it. Certainly, if you have questions, TikTok seems very active. People love to communicate on TikTok. If you see something or hear something, put it down. We pay attention to it. A bunch of you gave us a list of topics. We're working on that. Certainly leave messages on the Instagram page, the Facebook page. You can email us. You can even text us.
Lots of ways to be in contact with us. And just as we just said here, continue the conversation. Continue the conversation. And engage others in conversation. To evolve yourself, to evolve the person that you're with, hit that reset button, and lots of new discoveries will be at your doorstep.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye.
See ya.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Mindfully Gay podcast. If you enjoyed our conversation today, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. This way you won't miss out on any of our upcoming episodes, where we continue to explore fascinating topics and share meaningful stories. Your support means the world to us. See you in the next episode.